They broke your timeline. In this video, I'm gonna talk about how they broke your timeline from a young age and why it's actually the thing that's truly wrong with this reality, and it should be changed immediately, and this world would be such a better place. So, when I was younger, my third eye was wide open. I would be capable of seeing people's energy fields, okay? I would be capable of just reading their energy and I would know their whole life when I was a small child. And I would also be capable of reading my own energy and seeing my own future. Okay, and I won't go too deep in my personal story, but I could already see things happening in the future. And when I could understand that my energy field was the most important to get myself to a better reality. Okay, and because I was so aware of this energy and I was capable of seeing things other people weren't capable of seeing, I was understanding that we were tricked into a low vibration and no one was really capable of perceiving that. Okay, and then when I grew older, I forgot a lot of this stuff. Okay, until I started to get into a period where my body started to reject the system so much that I would just go to nature, meditate, find myself, and then I got all these flashbacks back from when I was younger. And then I started to realize again that we are broken on purpose because if we get mentally broken, our psyche gets broken, okay? Not our physical body, but our psyche, our energy field, our own self image, our belief system. When you get broken, okay, you are capable of being influenced with belief systems. And that's the whole point, okay? They force you in a system that puts you under constant pressure. So you get stuck in the school system, so you get stuck in the 40-hour work week, and so you get stuck in a routine on a low vibration pretty much your whole life, and that's on a low frequency where you're influenced, okay? Where you let the external control the internal. That's the whole point of the matrix, where money has a certain level of influence over your mind. Okay, maybe 10 euros won't do anything if I ask you, okay, go do something. But if I give you 100 euros, okay, then it becomes more interesting for most people, okay? And maybe even smarter people would be influenced by 1,000, okay? And maybe very highly influential people would be influenced by 10,000, okay? And this is all because their mind is still stuck in the matrix, okay? So this creates a system where everyone is capable of being influenced, and based on the value of the person is the number of influence necessary to influence this energy, because everyone's just energy, okay? And based on how influential, how valuable you are, there is a number that would influence you, okay? And this is all because we live in an artificial reality. We live in a society where there's always a number that would influence you. There's always a number that would make you take actions against your core values, against your heart desire, against your soul path, okay? And what's happening here? So I got all these flashbacks back that my I wasn't capable of communicating that at such a young age, because it happens at such a young age. But your parents have to put you into school at a very young age, okay? And this creates a situation where you are not allowed to think from your own unique frequency anymore, okay? So perceive this as a timeline. And this is like 0, and this is like 0 to 6 or something. And then here you already or no, it's even younger, I think, like 4. And then here you already have to go to school. So here you already have to go to school, and here you are whatever, and then you get from 12 to 16 is a new school system, and then here from 16 to whatever. Okay, and here is a situation where you are absorbing the energy of your parents, okay, and absorbing the energy of the environment. But your parents have been totally brainwashed by the system. That's one. So you are evolving, you are understanding this reality, and what you actually want to do is just play. You just want to play to understand this reality and to start becoming your best version. That's like the whole point. You're trying to evolve into the best version of yourself, okay? And then here we are still capable of playing, okay? We are using our imagination to play. We are totally in our imagination, okay? We are totally in our own frequency. We are totally in our inner world. I was playing a lot with things, and then my imagination would create a movie about what was happening. But from the outside, I was just playing with, stuff, with toys. But I was also capable of reading the energy and seeing at some point when I got between this part between here and there, I would start be capable of reading the energy of the people. I would be capable of feeling the energy and reading their timeline. I would be reading the energy and see their intentions. I would be reading the energy, and I would be capable of understanding their level of consciousness. Okay, I can still remember when that happened. It was in school, and the teacher, I was doing something. I can still remember where you had to tell a story to someone else, and then this person would tell a story to the other person, that person would tell a story to the other person, and then it would go all around, and then it had to be the same story. And it was funny because I was the last person, and the teacher was listening if the story was being told the right way. And when it got to me, the story, I would tell the story, but just in a different way. It went totally automatic. And it was actually the same story, but I was telling it with different words. And from my perspective, that was the most logical way of presenting it, because only if you create something unique, then it makes this world better. And that was my perspective already from a young age. I understood the rules, but I also understood that the rules were not beneficial of evolving me to my full potential. And then the teacher told me, "Hey, you don't understand the game. This is not how it's being played." And I was like, "Yeah, but we are playing a totally different game you are not aware of." But I was at such a small age that I wasn't capable of understanding it. And then I was capable of reading her energy when she was saying that. And then I could see her whole life in front of me. And then I was like, "Oh, now I understand why you say this, because you don't understand it." Okay. And then and when it happened, I was so flabbergasted that I was thinking, okay, maybe I can understand my own energy also to see where I am going, And then I could see my future, and I could see, whoa, I have to really play this game different, or else bad stuff will happen in my life. And that was because I would be capable of reading my energy. I was capable of understanding we are playing a totally different game than the Matrix makes us believe, okay? So the biggest problem we are in this reality, the biggest problem in this reality is we are living in a fake reality that's forced upon us, okay? And we are forced to get locked into a jail of our mind from a young age. So what's happening now, you are born, you are with your parents, then your parents are like most of the time working. They are not even, they're only in the evening they are with you, and then even these hours they are at their worst level. Okay, they have already used up the best part of the brain, or the best part of their day, their pure energy. They already use this part for their work. Okay, and then when they see their child, they are here. So you getting the worst part of the day from your parents, and that creates a timeline that they are teaching you. Okay, the best part they are using for their work, their unique frequency, and here they get brainwashed by the news, the television. Okay, so even in the morning they are distracted with external stuff. Then you get the worst part of the energy of your parents, and then you get most of the day where you are stuck in a system that influences your self-image, that lowers your vibration. And what they are actually doing, they say, okay, you have to go to school to learn to become smart, but what they actually are doing, they are breaking your authentic vibration. They are breaking your unique perspective on life. They stop you from playing. They stop you from using your imagination, and they don't let you see the value of your imagination. They don't let you see the value of a unique perspective. All the things you see in this reality, all the things that have been created, are first created in the mind before they are created in physical reality. So all these things you're seeing were created by authentic thinking, okay? And these visions, these things were only capable of being created by a lot of people being on autopilot and just following the vision of someone who is capable of thinking from their unique perspective. So you come in this reality, new soul, your purpose, evolve to your full potential, start thinking from your own unique energy, create a routine within the highest vibration possible, and then create something unique in your own unique way, okay? That's your goal in this reality. But what's actually happening, we have been controlled for a very long time now, so they know this is happening, they just don't tell you. So they let you go to school, and they make you think, okay, you go here to become successful in life. But what's actually happening is they are breaking your self-image. They won't allow you to use your imagination. They won't allow you to evolve your unique perspective. And therefore you get stuck in a vibration of children, of people who have to listen to external authorities to pass to the next level. It's an artificial reality that makes you learn how this reality works backwards. And that's how your unconscious mind gets programmed. And that's why we have so many people who are depressed, who go into a job they don't like, because they have always used the external world for their thinking. They have never used their imagination, their own unique thinking process, to come up with unique ways of solving problems. And that's where your true power is, within your imagination. But the school system breaks this, okay? And it allows you to just not think and just let the external world dictate your choices. Then you go to the next one. The same thing happens with this school system. And even if you have to go to the toilet, you have to raise your hand, can I please go to the toilet, and then they will say yes or no. You can only leave the class when the bell rings, okay? All these things are the external world telling you not to listen to your intuition, not to listen to your own feelings, not to listen to yourself, and just follow the environment. That's how this whole school system is created. And I got all these flashbacks back when I was at a young age, where my intuition was telling me, go to nature. I just want to play in nature. That's just what I wanted to do. Just be in nature, in my own imagination, in my own way of thinking. But my parents unconsciously forced me, no, you have to go to school. You have to go to school. And every day I went to school. And I came back and my mom picked me up. I was crying every day, crying when I was younger. Because I felt the influence, the energy, the people I had to mix with. They are not they didn't allow me to be in my own unique energy. They didn't allow me to be in my own unique thinking, in my own frequency. I wanted to go within. I wanted to be in my own energy. I just wanted to play. I didn't want that. I didn't want to go to school. Everything within my body was rejecting that place. But my parents kept on bringing me to school, because we are in a system where they will come and take your child away if you don't bring him to school. We live in a dictatorial regime where you are not allowed to think your own choices. We think we're free. That's totally not true. If you do not bring your school if you do not bring your child to school, this brainwashing place, they will take your child away. They give you a fake idea of freedom. This is not true. You are only free if you can create a family where you can protect your family from belief systems that are toxic. And we aren't allowed to protect our own child from being attacked by this toxic system, because people are blind for what's happening. And only when you watch my videos you start to see again. We are constantly attacked with belief systems. Belief systems. Okay? And these belief systems make you see and take certain actions. These belief system makes you value yourself at a certain level. And this level is based on how much you are willing to work at which hourly rate, at which level. Okay? Every person in this matrix has a price. And your self-image dictates this price. Okay? If you aren't capable of getting the price you want, just don't work. It's very simple. Just find yourself. If you're not valuable enough in this system, work on yourself before you start generating money. And you can say, Tim, yeah, Tim, but I have to pay rent, I have to pay all this stuff. Yes, because you live in a system that's rigged against you. And what you should do is go back to nature, because nature is free and nature is the highest vibration. Okay, nature is free and nature is the highest vibration. But Tim, it's winter, it's cold. How can I go to nature? It does not work that way. Maybe it's cold in your country, but there are many places in this world where it's warm in nature, okay? And nature is the place where you will start using your unconscious mind in the right way again, okay? You have been broken from a young age by your parents unconsciously, because they put you in school system that was brainwashing you and that didn't allow you to use and evolve your imagination, okay? So what you should actually do is go to nature and use plants from nature, okay? And then you're like, plants, what kind of plants? Link in the bio below this video. Everything you need to understand what kind of things to use to evolve to your full potential again. Okay? So you have to go back in nature, use plants from nature, go within, go meditate, start evolving to your own unique frequency, start evolving to your own unique way of thinking. And then you would say, okay, Tim, so I start to understand. We've been unknowingly been put in a system that lowers our self-image, that makes our unconscious brain more influential and susceptible to external images, and therefore we get stuck in a routine, in a way of thinking, in a way of taking actions that's not our own thinking, but it's just the energy of the culture, just the energy of the news, just the energy of our environment. And when we think we want an expensive car, or when we think we want a big house, it's actually images that have been put inside of us, and we think we want that thing, but actually we don't. Because if we would achieve that thing, we would still be unfulfilled, because we would still be on a low vibration, okay? The real thing we're trying to achieve here is starting to evolve our belief systems so we can operate from a high vibration. You don't need all this external stuff to evolve, okay? You need all this internal stuff to evolve, okay? And how do you evolve this internal stuff? By protecting your energy. Protect your energy, okay? And if you create a child, protect the energy of your child, okay? Don't blame the external world for having to pay rent. Don't blame the external world for having to follow the rules. If you truly listen to your own values and to your own thing, and you create a child in this reality, you should be capable of protecting your child from the belief systems from the school system. You should protect your child from the belief systems from culture. You should protect your child against all these things. And if you are creating a child and you allow this system to fill it up with all these limited beliefs, and therefore it's creating so much negative emotions towards itself, and get stuck in a routine that's forced upon them, and will create goals that are not their own but they think they do, and then they keep on chasing things that are unfulfilled, and they were never capable of getting closer to their heart desire, to their soul. If you put a child on this earth, you are building bad karma, even if you are not aware of what you're doing. And this is reality. If you create a child, you must create an environment that allows the child to evolve to its full potential. And putting a child into school, breaking its self-image, breaking its belief system, breaking its unique frequency to fit in a broken system. If you put a child on this earth doing that, you build a lot of bad karma. Okay, you are a soul in this body, and because you always distracted yourself, you always took the substances that lower your consciousness, because you always did these things society told you to do, even though deep inside of your heart you felt you were doing the wrong thing, but you were so brainwashed that you still did it. If you do that stuff, even if it was so-called unconscious, it was not unconscious. You felt it. You felt it. You felt it deep inside that what you were doing was wrong. You just didn't understand what you were feeling. Okay? You went to a doctor. The doctor says you have depression, a chemical imbalance. No. Your soul is screaming. Your soul is screaming because it's seeing the bigger perspective on your life. It's seeing that your reincarnation is brainwashed by this devil worshipping system, by beings that don't have a soul. So they don't care about building bad karma. They care about power. Okay? So the biggest problem in this system is you put your child in a vibration that breaks their self-image. Okay? That makes them absorb limited beliefs. That makes them learn only a few skills that are, like, if you would put a child into school, maybe 3% or 5% of what it's really learning there is valuable in the real world, okay? And 95% is belief systems that are forced upon them that they need to unlearn again, okay? School makes you less. It breaks you from your authentic self. And if you would let the child, allow the child to develop its intuition. So let's say, okay, instead of that, we don't put them in the school system. We allow them to play in nature, okay? We allow them to develop their own imagination. We allow them to come up with intuitive ways, of unique ways of approaching life in their own unique way, okay? Of course, we will help them. We will create more awareness. We will make them understand, hey, listen, if you put your finger in fire, you will burn it, okay? And then they will put their finger in the fire and burn and actually experience it to understand it. And that's how I was, you know. Always when my parents told me not to do something, I did it. It was always, okay, I hear you, but let's experience it for myself, okay? So if we allow the children to make mistakes, okay, and to fail and to evolve from their own unique energy, they would become independent thinkers. That's what we want. You can only solve problems in your own unique way when you become an independent thinker. When you stop valuing external stuff, external opinions, okay? This happens. You become an energy, so this is you. And this is the group. And this group operates from group thinking. And there have been many tests done that all these people have a broken self-image, broken belief system. But because they are mixing their energy in group thinking, they feel powerful, okay? They can only be powerful in group thinking. And when group thinking happens, people stop using their conscious brain. Look at when with the pandemic, okay? All these rules were being made that made zero sense, okay? People weren't even thinking about what was happening. They just followed the group. They just followed what's happening and just did what they have been told. And that was one of the many moments in my life where I realized how, I don't want to say stupid, because people are not stupid. They just don't make any brain connections, okay? They don't live in the now. They live in the illusion of the group thinking. They live in the images of the group thinking. If you look at people who go against, who go on the street and go yell and are angry about stuff, and then an interviewer comes to them and they ask like straight up logical questions, and then these people cannot even communicate logically back because they are so in their emotions and group thinking. They cannot answer simple questions. It just represents that their brain is in the reptilian state, okay? It's in a low level of consciousness. Their emotions, the group emotions, are controlling their actions. And because our third eye is closed, we cannot see their energy field. We cannot see that if our third eye would be open, okay, and we would be capable of looking at a whole group of people getting angry about stuff happening in the world, we would see they are all attuning to the same negative energy. It's just, they just become one energy, and it's a destructive energy, okay? And the same is also with a company. A company just attunes to a certain energy, okay, and they are being paid for money, and they are being paid to keep on mixing with this energy, so they are making more money, okay? A company is just an energy, okay? People are yelling on the street or angry and coming together, just an energy, okay? Immigrants coming to a different country, to Europe for example, they come out of a very different energy where killing is very normal, where raping is very normal, and that's because the countries, the environment they came from, haven't had the ability to evolve in a way where we would be capable of collaborating from a situation of mutual values, okay? And therefore, because people are waking up in Europe, they take this energy and put it in here, because this energy is still controllable by religion, okay? And this energy in Europe is starting to not be controlled by religion anymore. It's still being controlled by the television. It's still being controlled by by group thinking. But the trust in the government is falling away, but by all the stuff that's happening, and therefore the control falls away. Okay, people stop listening to the television. People stop listening to the government. So therefore, all these rules are being made constantly. We are being kept on a low frequency. We are giving vaccines to even lower our consciousness. And then they are getting new energy from countries to let religion take control again, okay? If they have more people who are religious here again, they can push rules and then they can control everyone. That's the whole point what's happening right now, because people starting to wake up. The energy is going up in this reality. People become more conscious, and but that's for another video. The biggest problem right now, you have been broken from a young age because you have been forced in a broken system that didn't allow you to evolve in your own unique thinking, in your own unique frequency, and therefore the school system programmed you in such a way to let the external control the internal. Okay, and when you make a child and you do the same to your child, it's like kicking your child in. Your child is not capable of swimming, and you kick your child into the water, and you say to him, yeah, try to swim and get out of the water. That's what you're actually doing to a new soul that comes to this earth. Okay, we still have to figure out life, still have to find ourselves, and then all of a sudden we have to make money to pay rent. It's like kicking a child in the water, is not capable of swimming, and just saying to the child, hey, just figure out how to swim and get out of it. That's the system we have been born in, okay? We force them in school, then we force them to get a loan for school, then we force them to get a loan for your house, and then you're stuck in a 40-hour work week, always stuck in a frequency where your energy is being influenced by people around you that control your belief system, that control your thinking, always watching all these things, and you're just, you are forced in a broken system, and that's because your parents were also forced in a broken system, okay? And that's what happened. You were forced into school, but actually the real problem is you were never allowed to play in nature, develop your intuition, develop your third eye, develop your higher aspects of yourself to change this world in your own unique way. That's the core problem. That's the core. This is the main problem, and no one seems to see it, okay? And I was only capable of figuring this out because I was capable of seeing stuff when I was younger. And when I was getting older, I was getting flashbacks and starting to understand these powers that I possess, okay? But everyone possesses these powers if you allow yourself to create a routine and in nature, being by yourself, starting to love being by yourself, okay, because you can experience way higher emotions by yourself than in a group, and you also allow yourself to be way more in control over your habits and your actions when you're capable of controlling your energy in your own unique way, okay? So start go to nature, start to use the plants from nature, start evolving yourself in your authentic energy, and start becoming the real you again, because you are not the real you, okay? The real you is connected to its soul with its heart, okay? Only when you raise your values, you connect to your soul, to your higher self again, okay? And you use your brain in a way where you control your belief systems, where you talk positive, where you try to make everyone's life a better place in your own unique way, always trying to create win-win situations. When you're doing it from a good karma aspect, from the human body, and you listen to your soul and your heart desire, you are capable of changing this world in your own unique way. That's the whole point, okay? But you have to do some soul searching. You have to go back in nature, find yourself, create the right routine, and you are way more powerful than you realize. You just haven't accessed it, your true power yet, okay? So yeah, thanks for watching. If you need any help, click on the link below. Everything you need to evolve to your full potential again. And make sure if you want me to talk about anything, just put it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.